What is up, everybody? This video is going to be about how to build and grow your emotional intelligence, okay? And I'm not an expert, but I am somebody who is constantly working on improving mine. So I think that I would have some insights to share with you guys, okay? Starting off with number one, I think learning how to observe your emotions before reacting is probably one of the most foundational steps that you can take when trying to build your emotional intelligence, okay? And what I mean by that is whenever you're experiencing any kind of fluctuation of strong emotions, I want you to hold yourself back and analyze what you're feeling and try to understand what emotion you are actually feeling. Is it anger? Is it fear? Is it insecurity? What exactly is triggering you? And basically, analyzing your triggers is the first step in building your emotional intelligence, is to actually be aware of what it is you are feeling and what it is that exactly triggers you in that moment. Okay? I think that's really important, and it's a crucial foundational step that you can't do anything else unless you have that basically mastered, which is the awareness of your emotions. Okay? Number two, you need to understand how these triggers work. And what I mean by that is you have to try to find the root of where that emotion is coming from. So now that you've understood what the emotion actually is that you are feeling, understanding the root of that emotion or where the cause of it is coming from within your own psyche is the second step in the process. And I think, it might be even a little harder than the first step because I'm sure that analyzing what you're feeling is pretty easy, but then trying to understand why exactly you're feeling the way you are might be a little more challenging. But nonetheless, it's very required. You have to, probably go back into your childhood trauma, past experiences, and try to figure out what exactly is causing you to feel that way, right? And moving on, once you kind of get those two down, and I know that it's kind of like quick, I just covered them pretty fast, but those two steps are probably going to take you a while. I'm going to be honest, they're probably going to take you a while to kind of get down and kind of really like perfect that process of understanding the emotion and then learning where it is coming from. That might take you a while in of itself. So I kind of want to take a second to just reiterate those 2 points and that it will take a little bit of time to kind of get that down. Once you feel comfortable with that process of analyzing your own emotions, you can move on to the next step, which is to practice emotional regulation. And what that means is more of trying to control your emotions once you've analyzed them, to actually practice techniques. And there are a few different types of techniques where people use box breathing or cold showers on the more extreme end. Some people use journaling or self-talk. That's a very common one. I'm a big believer in the self-talk. I'm not really an external person. I'm very internal, which means that I practice a lot of self-talk. And I don't even need to do like external practices to kind of control my own emotions because I just digest them inside of my own mind and try to kind of process it just in my own head. And that's kind of the process that I use. But a lot of other people, for a lot of other people, there are techniques that help, such as the ones I mentioned, and also taking walks helps a lot of people as well. A lot of people are big advocates for walking or even exercising. But I would think that exercising is kind of more of its own thing entirely that deserves its own video because I feel that this is more tailored to daily practices, not like an actual lifestyle change. This is not really lifestyle changes. This is just implementation of certain strategies to help you understand yourself better and help manage your own emotions better. And step 4 is get better at reading people. Now, this is actually more so of a byproduct that occurs once you become better at regulating your own emotions. Once you start regulating your own emotions, you can actually pick up on other people's emotions really well, or if people are just hiding things or repressing things, you actually become way more aware of that. Because the more work you do on yourself and the more aware you become of yourself, the more aware you become of other people as well. And it translates to social awareness at the same time. So not only do you become more aware, but it's a social awareness that can help you in social situations, whatever they might be. And these things kind of boil down to like picking up on the tone of voice that people have, micro expressions, they become very evident to you. Changes in energy or body language, these things start becoming more uh, pronounced once you start practicing these things on yourself. Next is, once you have that all kind of mapped out, you have to learn how to set boundaries. Now, this is very important because when you become an emotionally aware person, you're going to start noticing a lot of bullshit. You're going to start noticing a lot of other people's shit, basically, in your space from the people around you, whether it's at work or your family or friends or anything like that. So, learning how to set up boundaries becomes super important. And, you can say things like, I'm not okay with that, or let's talk about this later, or I don't think this conversation is productive, things like that, kind of basic things. Or if you want to be more like me and just be blunt, I would suggest actually tackling these things and calling people out and trying to get into it. But it's like it's a right time and place kind of thing, because if you do that and it's not the right time or place, it may just make things worse. So I feel like you have to read the room. And if you feel like you have to set boundaries and address people, I would recommend being honest and straightforward and trying to find the time to talk to that person on a deep level and addressing the boundaries that they've crossed and certain things like that on a one-to-one kind of thing, and kind of set a new vibe, set a new level with that relationship. Okay? And now moving on is you have to build empathy, right? Through this entire process. This whole process actually will make you more of an empathetic person, because you can honestly feel and experience other people's emotions without even, having to be that person. You can really put yourself in their shoes pretty effortlessly when you've developed all these qualities and once you've mastered regulating your own thoughts and emotions. And this can be very powerful, and it'll help you understand people more. It'll help you talk to people better. It'll help you solve problems. And it generally will make you a more enjoyable person to be around, because people love to feel heard and love to feel understood. And I would say that empathy is definitely not a weakness, and it's a connection, and it's probably one of the strongest connections that we can experience as human beings. And I urge everyone to build their empathy while they understand their own emotions, because you will feel disconnected at times from others at the same time, because you will feel, not, I don't want to say superior, you will feel like you're on a different level than most people. And then you have to ground yourself and learn how to be empathetic while operating from a higher state of mind. Okay. And yes, so just sum it all up, basically observe your emotions, identify the triggers to your emotions, learn to regulate your emotions once you have those two steps down, then read other people, and that will become easier if you have the past steps uh, mastered, and then set boundaries and empathize intelligently. All right? Emotional intelligence won't just make you a calmer, more disciplined person. It'll make you dangerous in the best way in society. And the reason it would do that is because you would become a person whose emotions can't be used against him. So if this did anything for you guys, if this provided any kind of value, please drop a comment. Let me know what you think. If you're going through any issues or struggling with any of the steps and you guys want, to ask any questions, feel free to comment that as well. If you got any value out of it, like the video, please. And if you like this kind of content or you want to see more like it, please subscribe. And I will see everybody in the next one. Take care.